Today we're going to learn how a Chinese chef makes this takeout classic,
牛肉撈麵
beef lo mein. It only takes 30 minutes from start to finish, and you can't go wrong with thick, chewy noodles, the most tender beef, and a delicious sauce to tie it all together. Thanks to Tipsy Sake for sponsoring this video. More on them later, but first my dad will teach us how to prepare the most succulent vegetables.
啲紹菜係6個安士咁上下啦，6個安士，啲羹同菜分開佢啲葉。
With the Napa cabbage, we'll separate the stems from the leaves with 2 angled cuts.
梗同葉分開佢，炒嘅時候好啲啦嘛。通常我最好多時候係咁搣嘅啫，搣菜個口感有仲切有啲唔同噶，你大家不妨試下。啲菜咧切咗條條啦嗱。
With the stems, we'll slice them into roughly 1/4 inch thick pieces.
喺度喺隔離，荷蘭豆就係2安士，2安士多啲，就搣咗佢，搣啲中間嗱。
With the snow peas, we'll tear off the string and stem all around the pod. My dad has already done this with the rest of the snow peas.
荷蘭豆就唔使切啦，嗰啲彩椒就切咗佢，搣咗圍碎，係2安士咁上下。
We'll cut the peppers in half vertically, remove the seeds and core, then slice roughly into 1/2 inch wide pieces.
葱咧，我呢邊3、4條葱。
We'll cut the green onions into 2 inch long pieces.
葱頭同葱尾分開，蒜頭2粒。
Now we'll roughly mince 2 cloves of garlic.
紅蘿蔔切絲，切紅蘿蔔嘅時候咧，切咗切開先，切咗一嚿先，咁樣咧唔會肉啲咁犀利啦嚇。嗱，
First, we'll cut the carrot into thin slices.
然之後切絲嗱，
Then lay them down and cut those slices into strips.
係2安士多啲啊。葱嚟分開嘅，葱頭俾落去一齊炒，啲葱尾菜尾擺落去面上撈勻得㗎啦。
With all of our vegetables chopped, my dad shares his 3-step approach to preparing the most tender bites of beef.
呢個呢個時的嚟嘅，嗰條筋硬嘅切咗佢。
你係少少敷緊，
係少少敷準。
Step 1. Partially freeze the meat.
點解啊？
敷準容易切啲啊嘛。我用半磅，呢個時的咧走起上嚟會又唔會好硬嘅，呢個時的嚟㗎。可以切咗佢。咁紋咧，嗱咪睇到一條條係嘛？所以我哋咁打橫切咯。
Step 2. Cut perpendicular to the grain. With our partially frozen beef, we'll cut it first into smaller chunks. Then cut perpendicular to the grain of the meat into 1/8 inch thick slices. When you look at the grain, you're seeing which way the muscle fibers are running. You want to cut those fibers short, because if you don't cut those fibers with your knife now, then your teeth will be working overtime to cut them later when you're chewing. That's what we mean by meat being tough. When you put the meat on your cutting board, align those grain lines to run from left to right, and set your knife perpendicular to those lines to cut your pieces for stir fry. On your completed slice, you shouldn't see any long grain lines.
切到切，咪闊啲咯，係嘛？
We'll continue slicing and put the pieces into a bowl for step 3, massaging the beef in water.
佢温係會硬嘅，你俾啲水落去，你凍水浸一浸佢，咁佢咧就可以浸軟咗佢，亦都可以將啲紅色嘅嘢浸咁啲出嚟，咁嚿肉咁啊鮮咪靚啦，係嘛？
What are some good cuts of beef you can use?
咩嘢都冇所謂，如果整得個好就。
你最中意用乜嘢嚟炒啊？你
蒜面，倒咗佢出嚟。
Now let's drain the water from the beef.
嗱，睇到紅色啲水嘛，浸到呢啲咧，佢嚿肉咧就會清爽咗好多啦。
As the beef continues to drain, we'll create our beef marinade with 1 tablespoon of light soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of oyster sauce, 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper, 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, 1/2 teaspoon of sugar, and 2 tablespoons of water. Then we'll mix. We have all of these ingredients listed on our blog at madewithlao.com, along with step-by-step instructions and video clips to guide you as you make the recipe at home.
因為佢啲肉唔係咁係嘅，唔係咁硬嘅，所以咧就唔需要落嗰啲冰霜啦。呢個豬時的可以唔落得係咪？呢個時的佢本身唔係好硬，線面就一定要落，其他都要落，唔應乾㗎啦。
We'll squeeze out any water left in the beef.
呢個過嚟，咁撈勻佢。 撈到佢咧啲肉索細嗰啲汁先，咁到煮嘅時候咧就落啲好啦。
While the beef marinates, we'll create the signature lo mein sauce with 1.5 tablespoons of light soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce, 1 tablespoon of dark soy sauce, 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, and 2 tablespoons of water. Then we'll mix it all together. Apart from lo mein, this sauce is also great with a bunch of other stir fries. Now that all of our ingredients are prepared, it's time to cook the noodles. Noodles have been a staple of Chinese cuisine for thousands of years. The first written record of noodles appeared about 2,000 years ago in a book written during the Han Dynasty. And in 2005, archaeologists unearthed a fully preserved 4,000-year-old bowl of noodles in northwestern China. In Chinese tradition, noodles symbolize longevity because they're long, and it's commonly served during birthdays, weddings, and other big life milestones. There are countless types of Chinese noodle dishes, but today we're making lo mein, or lo mein in Cantonese, which means stirred or mixed noodles, referring to the way it's made. It's often confused with another popular noodle dish, cao mein, or stir-fried noodles, which generally has thin noodles, no sauce, and highlights the aromatic stir-fried flavors and textures. Lo mein, however, generally has thicker noodles and features a delicious gravy-like sauce, which, in our opinion, is the star of this dish. Now, my dad's gonna show us how to perfect the texture of the noodles. First, we'll need a pot of water.
而家開火煲滾啲水，先倒啲麵落去。我呢度咧有8杯水咁上下。
如果多啲係咪冇咁好啊？
多啲反而煮仲好啲喎，多啲快脆啲煮個煮熟嘅喎。如果你少水咧，就要煮好耐，咁變啲麵咧就腍晒啦。好啦，滾水啦，將啲麵擺落去嚇，一磅麵嚟嘅。
When the water boils, we'll gently add our noodles, being careful not to splash.
What type of noodles do you use for lo mein?
好多麵都得，就一定係粗麵好啲，意大利麵都得。
要有啲蛋啊！
啲麵有啲蛋，冇咁容易爛。
嗰啲係咪要攪啊？
搞佢好啲，搞唔俾佢黐底啊。
Do you prefer wet fresh noodles or dry noodles?
分啲麵，
乾麵好唔得唔得啊？
得，煲滾啲水，將麵落佢發開咗，留起佢，跟住炒得啦。滾咗之後咧，我哋閂慢火㗎啦，等佢慢慢煮下佢，煮腍佢先。
When the water comes back to a boil, or after about 90 seconds, we'll turn the heat to low.
煮到啲麵咧，你捏下佢，俾手指甲捏下佢夠腍就得㗎啦。
Here's an easy way to check if the noodles are fully cooked.
嗱，
咁佢就未熟。
譬如你而家搣開條麵啦，嗬，呢度搣開條麵咧，如果中間
係白色嘅
center 係 white colour，it is still
啲麵就
raw。
未熟啦。
But if no white colour in the center, that means fully cooked. We don't want the noodle not fully cooked. We want fully cooked, but also not overcooked.
After 2 more minutes of cooking on low, the noodles are done.
閂火而家，將啲麵倒出嚟。
Then we'll strain the noodles.
淥完之後咧，你要唔要過冷河啊？
唔使過。
撈麵唔使過係嘛？
你要淥完啲麵，你唔煮擺喺度你就過；你淥完啲麵跟住煮你就唔好過。撈麵同炒麵都係一樣。
The process my parents are talking about here is called guo lang ho, or shocking something in cold water. It's often done with noodles to stop the cooking process. My dad also does this with the sticky rice ball or tong yun recipes. The cold water will cause the noodles to contract a bit, which results in a chewy, more al dente texture. My dad explains that we don't need to shock it today for this dish because we're going to stir fry the noodles in just a few minutes. But if there's a long delay between parboiling the noodles and adding them back into a dish, then you may want to shock them in cold water to ensure you get that perfect chewy texture.
擺呢度停水。
This video's sponsor is Tipsy Sake, the largest online sake store in the US. My dad doesn't get to drink sake very often, so it's pretty cool to share this experience with him. Tipsy Sake has over 400 sake labels online that you can buy a la carte, as well as their Tipsy Sake Club membership program, where you'll receive a special curated sake box every 3 months. This is what we got, and each box comes with 6 10-ounce bottles along with sake tasting cards, QR codes for virtual tasting videos, and their Tipsy Tribune newsletter. Tipsy Sake Club members also get 10% off the entire 400+ sake catalog and unlimited free shipping. My dad and I aren't as familiar with the intricacies of sake tasting, and the whole experience felt a lot like doing a wine tasting in Napa, but in the comfort of our own home. Drinking sake is still relatively niche in the US, and Tipsy Sake's mission is very similar to Made with Lau's, which is to make it simple, fun, and approachable to enjoy this 1,000-year-old tradition. If you're interested in trying Tipsy Sake, click the link in our description to get 10% off your order with the code MadeWithLau at tipsysake.com.
備好晒料，而家開始炒麵嚇。
We'll heat our wok on high. For stir frying, we generally add ingredients to the wok so they all reach the perfect texture at the same time. Even if you don't end up using this exact combination of ingredients, pay attention to the order and timing of how my dad cooks the ingredients.
我攞之前咧，我啲牛肉咧就落少少啲油上去一個湯匙，封住嗰啲牛肉汁，等佢冇咗出嚟，同埋咧容易散啲，鑊就已經夠熱啦。你睇到啲煙係咪？睇到啲煙已經夠熱啦。
When the wok is hot, or after 1 to 2 minutes, we'll add 2 tablespoons of oil and swirl it around the wok.
How do you prevent the noodles from sticking to the wok?
點解燒得佢好熱？ 咁你再炒嘢，佢就唔會黐。你一定要燒隻鑊，燒到好熱好乾咗，俾啲油落去，隻鑊索嗰啲油咯，索啲油喺鑊入邊，咁你炒起上嚟唔會黐咯。如果你燒隻鑊唔夠乾咧，而家鐵入邊仲有水分咧，你俾咗啲油落去，隻鑊索唔到啲油，咁炒起上嚟咪黐鑊咯。煎魚同埋炒啲肉，一定要燒到乾隻鑊。 When
the oil is hot, or after 30 to 40 seconds, we'll add our beef. We'll spread it around, but don't flip any pieces yet. After 20 seconds, we'll flip the beef to cook the other side. After another 20 to 30 seconds, we'll take the beef out and set it aside.
呢個乾淨碗嚟㗎，而家蓋多少少油上去得㗎，下邊有啲油喺度。
We'll add another tablespoon of oil here.
蒜頭，爆香蒜頭先。
After stir frying the garlic for 15 seconds, we'll add the Napa cabbage stems.
條菜。
We're adding the stems first since they take longer to cook. After 15 to 20 seconds, we'll follow with the leaves.
所以葱頭。
We'll cook for another 20 to 30 seconds, then add the carrots.
紅蘿蔔絲。
Make sure to mix it all together in the wok. I also wanted to make a special shout out to thank all of our wonderful Patreon supporters for helping bring this video to life. If you enjoy our videos and are interested in supporting us directly, head on over to patreon.com/madewithlau to learn more.
抽軟啲菜軟咗就得㗎啦。
After cooking the veggies for about a minute, it's time to add the foundation of this dish.
俾埋啲麵落去咯。
We'll use tongs to separate the noodles and mix it together well for 30 seconds. Then we'll add the sauce.
俾埋啲汁上去啦，攪口個sauce俾埋上去啦。
Now we'll follow with the beef.
牛肉俾埋落去。
Now we'll mix everything together.
將啲麵索細嗰啲汁先。
What are some common mistakes home cooks make with this dish?
飯錯嘅時候，你知用滾水煮淥麵嘅時候，淥得佢太腍咧，你又好容易撈斷咗。
啲菜好要唔要冇咁多水嘅菜啊？
唔緊要，你係撈麵係有水嘅啫。我用紹菜㗎嘛，你啲麵太腍，可以索晒嗰啲菜汁啊，咁啲麵咪好食咯。你自己啲麵太腍，佢咪索唔到嗰啲菜汁嗰啲味，啲麵咪又唔好食咯，又奶爛嘢爛。
After 30 to 40 seconds of stir frying with beef, we'll add the rest of our veggies.
俾埋呢啲紅椒、香豆、葱尾、菠蘿放晒落去。
We'll mix in our new ingredients and cook for another 40 to 50 seconds. Then we're ready for a taste test.
而家咧，試佢夠唔夠鹹先，夠唔夠味？加多半個湯匙嘅生抽上去，麻油一個茶匙唔同啊，撈埋佢。
We'll stir in the added seasonings for another 1 to 2 minutes, then we can turn off the heat.
好，閂火。
Now we can plate this masterpiece.
紅堆落嚟食嘢咯！
俾爹哋先啦，爹哋最辛苦啦，唉。
你辛苦啊！
我湊孫啫，唔係幾辛苦。瘦紅都係 exercise 啊，成日追住佢。
Oh my gosh. Can you like it?
牛肉撈麵煮好咗啦，希望大家中意啊！ Cheers！ 同大姐
Cheers!
YouTube thinks you'll like this recipe next. Let's see if they're right.